Hey y'all, it's your favorite duck here, Derek the Duck. And today we are going to talk about the new movie VHS Halloween. It just came out on Shudder today, if you have the Shudder network, which is my favorite of all the streamings. You can watch it because it came out today, October 3rd, 2025. It's a good non alcoholic beer. So, yes, today is VHS Halloween Day. I have been looking forward to this for so long, for a whole year. Used to be the Saw movies came out every Halloween. Haven't seen a Saw movie in a while. Maybe about 2 years ago. Um, but now it's the VHS movies, and you know I love VHS. They're my favorite series. I'm big on found footage, horror. It's my favorite type of horror. Um, I love all of the VHS movies. The very first one, VHS, is probably is it it changes between what I think is, but many times the original VHS occupies my number one all-time favorite movie of all time. I just love this movie so much. I've seen it a million times. I can never get enough of it. VHS 2 is also a classic. This is a very special Blu-ray version of it. It actually comes with a VHS tape. Look at that. So you can really feel like you are getting the full experience. I do have a VHS tape player. VCR is what it's called, I think. I can't believe I forgot that. Um, One of my other favorite um, VHS is The Puritan 2 with Mia Goth. It's not a real movie. Um, But they gave this to me at Alamo Drafthouse when I went to see Maxine. That's another one of my favorite series, the X series. We've got X, Pearl, and of course Maxine. And in Maxine, she plays this character called the Puritan. And they made a VHS, a fake VHS cover for it. It comes with your very own Maxine effin' Minx. Um, little button, and it comes with a photo of Maxine, and some fun stickers. Maybe I'll put them on my Mercedes. I don't know. Maxine stickers. That's fun. Yeah, sometimes you get fun little things when you go to the Alamo Drafthouse. That's where I go see all my movies, and there practically every day when I'm bored here in Texas and I'm not traveling the world. But I couldn't get a flight out today, so I'm stuck here. And that's fine with me because today, like I said, is VHS day. I love the VHS series, like I mentioned. VHS Viral was the third one. Um, this was back when they used to do Blu-rays and stuff. I mean, I guess they still do. But now the movies come out regularly, usually on the Shudder network. Come out pretty much every year now, and you can just digitally save them. You don't need a Blu-ray or anything like that. But sometimes it's good to have in case like the cable goes out or whatever. Is cable a thing? I don't know. But I love all my VHS series. I think the last one was actually the one I like the least. One from a couple. There's been VHS 85, VHS 94. I think that's the one with Ratman. That one was real good. And I think about it every time I go to Vegas because there's these areas next to the Rio Hotel, I think, and they look like they're areas. And I think I read that that's where some people are mole people and live underneath the city of Vegas, which is terrifying, and I feel terrible for them. But there's this horror segment in one of the VHS, the recent ones called Ratman, and that was one. Man, that was such a good one. That was one of the best ones that they've had, and it's about what else might live under there, underneath the city and the sewers. You never know. So it's always fun. That was a really good one. I did not really like I thought the poorest, but still fun of the entire series was, I think, the one that came out last year, VHS Beyond. It was more into like aliens and stuff like that, beyond from outer space, that sort of thing. Just was one of the weaker ones. But today I saw the new one, VHS Halloween, and man, did that one blow me away. I feel like VHS is coming back. It's making a comeback. They did really well. 6 new stories. And this one felt longer. I think it was longer. I mean, some of these, like this one, VHS Viral, only has like 3, maybe 3 stories and maybe 1 wraparound segment. This one only came out to how long? Yeah, this movie is 81 minutes long. Okay, that's not enough of VHS for me. I need a lot. I could watch 8 hours nonstop. And speaking of that, I'm going to be going to the Alamo Drafthouse's upcoming Dismember the Alamo. This is from last year. I went to see it. They tried to stop it. Yeah, Dismember the Alamo was always fun. I go every year. I can't wait to see the 2025 one. It's going to be on October 25th. I will be there to see my Dismember the Alamo. When Dismember the Alamo comes out, it's always like 4 B-type horror movies, 8 hours long. It's a great time to get that unlimited popcorn deal. I will sit and watch 8 hours of horror movies, any day of the week, as long as I'm not traveling. If I'm stuck here, that's what else are you going to do? So yeah, all that to say, I can't get enough of these horror movies, especially found footage ones, especially VHS ones. And this one was awesome. This is one of the better ones that I've seen. I would say it's a little better than VHS Viral. These first 3 were like the key ones, okay? They had real strong directors. A lot of these directors have gone on to become real famous, including the guy who did, what's his name? Ty West, the one who did the Maxine and X, the whole X series. So you've got some really great directors on here. Justin Benson, Nacho Vigalondo, Greg Bishop, real talented people. Who else did we have? Simon Barrett, Adam Wingard, who else? And then the whole Radio Silence team, who've done other really good ones. And yeah, just who's that other guy I really like? What's his name? Joe Swanberg. He's in a lot of these great movies. So yeah, they're all really talented. Now, like I said, they're kind of churning them out now. It's different talent each time. I think probably the biggest name on this one was Alex Ross Perry. I was really interested in seeing his work in this one. Usually, very impressive. They're talented directors and writers, and they only have, a short segment here and there to make. But this one had 6 segments in it, and it was almost completely 2 hours long. So I was very pleased with the runtime. Like I said, they could have given me a lot more, but I was happy with it. So let me talk about it. Yeah. So for this one, the wraparound was called Diet Phantasma. It was like a drink, a weird drink that shouldn't exist, kind of like this non-alcoholic beer. But it was a drink that's supposedly like made out of ghosts. So it was a little crazy. It was a little just fun, ridiculous 80s style horror. I wouldn't put much thought into it. It was just silly fun. And usually the wraparounds are kind of silly fun. They're not the most serious parts of it. They're there to sort of, they're like an invisible MC guiding you from one story to the next. But they're not really the heart of the story in any sense. Now, a lot of the segments, almost all of them, had, they were obviously related to Halloween. And if you've seen the original VHS, which I don't see why you wouldn't, it's like on every single streaming service for free, at this point. Uh, but the very last one on this one, in this movie, was a segment called 10/31/89 or 98 or something. Well, I can't remember exactly what year it was, but um, it was on Halloween. So there's a segment about Halloween and going into a haunted house of sorts. Um, and so I think the essence of that one segment from the original really carries over in this Halloween one, obviously. There's a lot of, well, all of the segments have to do with Halloween and haunted houses and candy and just like weird things like that, So the first segment in this anthology was called Coochie Coochie Coo. And I think it was probably the best of all of them. It was real scary, and it was about these girls who go into a haunted house, or they think it's a haunted house. They're there trying to get candy, and they're dressed up as babies, but something's going on in this house that's related to mommies and babies in a very bizarre way. If you're a fan of Barbarian and the mama in that one, and the idea of just like bizarre baby lands when they're not babies but like actual adults, the babification of adult people, it can be kind of jarring. And so this little segment was definitely creepy. It had great atmosphere. I think it had a little too much sound and sort of music, which is never a good thing for found footage. I want it to seem completely just like it was footage. Like there should be no anything really, no music. But it was a pretty good one. It was scary, and it was interesting. It was freaky. It was pretty freaky, and it was just bizarre, and I love all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this one was pretty good. Coochie Coochie Coo. The next one, this one was interesting. It was called, I don't know how, I guess it's Latin. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ut supra sin infra. Basically, that means as above, so below. Now, when I was watching this segment, my first thought was, this is exactly like that movie, As Above, So Below. And if you've seen this movie, this one, As Above, So Below, it's a found footage movie too. It's a great one. It's one of my favorites. Obviously, I bought it. It's about, they go into the catacombs in Paris, and it's weird down there, and there's a phone that rings. And so when I was watching this one, people are in a place that's kind of historic, and they're there on Halloween, and they think it's going to be funny, and they're in this little room, and there's a phone there. And so I was like, immediately it made me think of that movie. And then they started saying, As Above, So Below, and apparently that was its title as well. And I was like, I don't know if it was like a complete homage to this movie, but it was really similar to it. And probably the scariest thing, for me personally, was I was watching it, and there was a little table that the phone was on when the phone started ringing, the haunted phone. And in my living room, I have the exact same little table, and I've never seen another table just like that, but maybe they were all made in the 90s or something just like that. It's exactly the same table. It may even be the same table. I found that table at a dumpster. I'm not even kidding. I have pictures of it somewhere where I found it. But I found it at a dumpster, and I brought it home, and who knows, maybe it's a scary haunted table or something. So I just need to make sure I don't put a phone on it or anything like that, and I don't say anything in Latin 3 times in the vicinity or something like that. So then I think I'll be fine. But yeah, that was kind of jarring for me while watching the movie. It's always kind of fun when you're watching a movie and you're scared. You know, if it's a movie about insects, then maybe you'll start to feel something on your arm or something. You know, it's fun. It's a fun little experience when that happens. Speaking of fun, the next segment was called Fun Size. This one was pretty out there. I like it when they can get real bizarre. This one was one of the more bizarre ones. It was about these people, they're going trick-or-treating and they find this candy that's like bizarre and seems like otherworldly. And there's a warning to not get too greedy with this fun-sized candy or something horrible might happen to you. And then of course, something horrible does. So yeah, it was an interesting one. It was a little gross. It was very gross. It was very gross, especially if you don't like seeing enormous phallic. You know what I mean. So this one was a little out there, but it was kind of funny. It was one of the funnier ones. But it was I like the bizarreness of it. The next one was called Kid Print. This one, I felt like it was a little too dark. You know, it was kind of like about a serial killer. Most of the ones that I like on the VHS series are things that are kind of supernatural, or kind of science fiction-y, that sort of thing. And I think most of them are that way. Very few of the segments are like, just like something like too real in a sense. I'd say probably the best one of all of the so-called real horror would probably be from the original one, the one called Second Honeymoon. That one is freaky, and I always think about it because it's about a trip in the desert to Vegas, and you know I go to Vegas all the time, so it always, when I go on my trips to Vegas, I'm like, oh, I better be careful, you know, just be careful, because this one, that's one of the more true ones. Well, not true, but a more real horror story that doesn't have supernatural. And this one was real dark. It didn't have that same kind of fun, I thought, that there usually is in a VHS segment. It was scary, but it was just a little too dark. And then the one that I thought was my second favorite was Home Haunt. That was the last one. That one was, again, haunted house. So it was a father and son. Every year they build this structure in their yard and they have their own house, their own haunted house. And they invite people in the neighborhood over. And usually everyone thinks they're lame. But this year they have something different. And it gets crazy. Of course it gets crazy. And so there was quite the payoff in that one. And even at the end of it, there was a little something that was reminiscent. And if you watch the original VHS, reminiscent to the famous segment in here with the siren lady, the I Like You lady. So yeah, that was fun. So overall, I really enjoyed this one. I thought this one was it was just really good. It was never, they're not perfect. They're never perfect, but it had enough in it to just, you know, be a really good horror mini anthology, and another really good one for the overall series. So yeah, I highly recommend VHS Halloween. It is out today, October the 3rd. It's on Shudder. Maybe in about a year, it'll probably be free on Tubi. That's usually how they kind of go. You know, they trickle down. But yeah, I recommend, the Duck recommends VHS Halloween. You know, yeah, go watch it. So thanks for watching my little mini review on this movie. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I talk lots about movies, TV series, Broadway shows, travel, just anything, just pretty much anything. Non-alcoholic beer. I'll talk about anything. I'll talk about anything. So yeah, join me and let's keep talking about all there is to see and do on the planet Earth, basically. Okay, well, we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.